Hey everybody, thanks for being here. Guess what? There is a thing. Burnout is real. And that's why we're here today. My name's Melanie Yates, and I am so passionate about this subject. And you want to know why? Because I have burnout. I've worked 20 years at the hospital, and I started out gung-ho, full of ambition, driven. I was hungry to learn. I was hungry to make money. I was hungry to do any shift you wanted me to do. I loved patient care. I loved being engaged, problem solving, figuring out new ways to do things. I loved people. I was definitely in my element, and I was good at it. And I felt like I was getting accolades at work, and I felt satisfied, and I felt good, you know? And then 20 years later, there's just something happened, you know? And I've learned a lot in 20 years. And I guess I want to talk about what burnout is and what it looks like, because sometimes we just think we're tired, and it's actually a pretty lonely place to be. So if you have experienced burnout, raise your hand. If you are experiencing burnout right now, raise your hand. And just, in the comments, I want you to write the reasons why you feel burned out. And I want you to write what it is that you're feeling that contributes to wanting to label yourself as burned out. So it can be lonely believing that you're the only one. So that's why the title of this course is called Burnout is Real. And it is real. And I do think that the medical profession is recognizing that our physicians are tired, our physicians are reacting, our physicians aren't getting enough sleep, and people, especially patients, are the ones that suffer, and we suffer. And so we want to get to a place where we can do something about it. And I think we feel alone and lonely because it feels like we're going to lose our job if we say something or if we do something different. We feel stuck because it doesn't feel like there's a choice. And that right there contributes to burnout. So when I think of what is burnout and what does that mean, the signs of burnout are emotional exhaustion. You are tired. You don't have, and these symptoms even kind of reflect depression. So, I thought I was depressed because I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do the things that I used to love to do. And I felt sad. I didn't have any energy. I wanted to sleep. If I wasn't at work, it felt like the only reason why I would even get out of bed is to punch the time clock. And it was like, as soon as I got home from work, I wanted to go to bed. And I'm an energetic person. I'm a driven person. I have ambition. And what slowly starts to happen is I'm feeling run down. I'm tired, and as much energy as I can muster up to just, show up for things that I feel are good for me, like going to church or going to someone's birthday I've been invited to, or going to the gym. I mean, I didn't have to go, but it took a lot of effort to make myself go there. And it didn't used to be like that. So burnout You know when you're burnout, when you're tired all the time. The symptoms of depression, when you don't want to do things you used to love to do, when you feel stuck and hopeless about the current affairs, when you isolate and don't talk about it, when you feel alone, when you feel underappreciated, when you feel disrespected. These are going to add to burnout. But when it feels like no one cares about you, it doesn't matter what you do, you don't make a difference, these are signs of burnout. When we react, when we have no control over our emotions, that is a sign of burnout. When we stop caring, not just about things we liked to do, but we literally don't even care about our patients or our coworkers. We stop saying, "How are you?" We stop making eye contact because we can barely get through the day. They call it depersonalization when we literally become detached because we're, and this is farther down the hill, so to speak, when we're talking about burnout. Like, you get to a place where you detach from your body and you're at work, but you're not there. You're just going through the motions and you're not really engaged. You're kind of on automatic and you disconnect from your body. And maybe you even feel numb at this point because you even disconnected from your feelings. Okay, so another thing that happens when we can't control our emotions is our emotions start to control us. And it is exhausting, and we can get into trouble in our relationships because we don't mean to, but there's this energy, there's like this vibe that's coming off of us that is like, don't talk to me, and we're easily triggered. So I know that, this last week I was in a surgery case, and I would bet money that surgeons for decades are burned out. You know why? Because they overreact. They are easily triggered. They have a short fuse, quick to anger, not able to wait, very impatient. This isn't anger management. This is burnout. This is being pushed to the limit where I am not even surviving anymore. I am reacting to stimulus as it comes in. So if someone doesn't behave the way I want them to behave, they're gonna get it. I walked into this surgery suite, and I'm a part of a team that, I work in interventional x-ray, and I know how to run a x-ray C-arm, and I came in to take the picture, and I was yelled at for not listening to him and not taking his direction of when to come in. And so, I'm wearing a mask, he's wearing a mask, he's even wearing protective gear, and his voice was muffled. And so I heard him say x-ray, which I was assuming that he wanted me to come in with the x-ray, and apparently I misunderstood, and he was livid and talked down to me, made me feel stupid. I know no one can make you feel a certain way, but there was definitely a tone and a vibe and an energy that was like, you're stupid. Not to mention he rolled his eyes at me, and it really felt like he was saying, I'm an idiot, you are incompetent, with his body language and his tone. So of course I moved the the x-ray out of the way, and then he continued to berate me in front of a room full of medical professionals. And then when he wanted the x-ray to come in, I couldn't hear him, so I was having to look to his assistant and make sure that he wanted me to come in, because I already got in trouble for bringing it in when he didn't want. So now I'm even afraid to do my job because I'm yelled at. So most of us want to avoid being yelled at, right? And so I was trying to figure out, why we let people treat us, why we let people treat us bad. So in this moment, I think I was in shock. This isn't my norm. I really don't go to the operating room all that much. And so this was kind of a new thing for me. I've been trained in the OR. I definitely have a license to be in there. I am certified to be in there. I understand what's going on in there. And, after 20 years, it's not my first rodeo, right? And so in the 20 years that I have worked at the hospital, I've never really been berated in this way and talked to rudely in this way. And so I kind of felt, I was in shock. And he looked at me and he's like, "What's your name?" And, when we think of, when someone asks you that, does that mean, he's going to write me up? Is he, is my job at stake because I didn't know what he wanted when he wanted it fast enough? And, I have been trained to run this machine. And actually, he can't do what he needs to do without me. I am a valuable asset to this procedure, and he doesn't have a license to use this machine. I do. So he needs me to do what he needs to do. And I am a skilled, certified, licensed individual, medical professional that deserves to be treated nice. I mean, I would hope that all of us, I believe that all of us deserve to be treated nice. But this is just one scenario of two people, me and him, who both are suffering from burnout, because this is what happened. He reacted, overreacted, short fuse, was super angry. Things were not going fast enough. And I sat there just in shock and finished the case, walked out, and my eyes just swelled up with tears. I just started crying at work. And that is a sign of burnout, when I absolutely have no control over someone hurting my feelings. And it's not like I suffer from low self-esteem. If someone yells at me, I cry. There's plenty of people that have offended me, talked down to me, thought I was stupid, called me names, and I didn't have to cry. So to me, in this situation, there's an emotional exhaustion. So we both are burned out. We just both handled things differently. So I'm so burned out, I can't even stand up for myself. I'm thinking that I have to put up with this behavior. And then I have no control whatsoever over my emotions, that I just start crying uncontrollably. And I'll tell you, it wasn't a couple tears. Like, I literally had to go outside, walk the parking lot for 30 minutes before I could come back in and not cry. So it wasn't just like that kind of hurt my feelings. Like, I could not gain composure. And that is a sign of burnout, when you are pushed to the point where I couldn't gain composure. And I was using the tools that I know, and I know that walking integrates my brain, fresh air, breathing. I called my support team. I called, my mentor. I called my husband. And all the tools that I've practiced got me to walk back in the door. I'll tell you that much, because I mean, if I didn't have those tools, I don't know if I could have even walked back in. So those are the signs that you're burned out. If you're reacting in an emotional way, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness, whether it's tears, depression, you're in the right place. This class, we are going to go through, I hope that today that I give you a couple of things that you have absolutely never heard of. And I'm hoping that one is EFT, Emotion Freedom Technique. So I'm going to give you a technique by the end of this that is very easy to learn. It's simple. I love teaching this to people because it gets us a tangible result in a quick amount of time. And you can use it when you're in the bathroom, because we all get to go to the bathroom for a break. And this is where I teach my clients to do the homework, to do the tapping, is to excuse yourself to go to the bathroom and take 2 minutes, even as little as 60 seconds, and you can have a tangible result in lowering, our central nervous system and bringing it calm and collected and integrated so that we can come back and be able to problem solve, be able to be connected, be able to be in the moment. Because when we detach, we're not really able to problem solve. We're not able to create. We're definitely not able to be happy. And we're, in the medical field, we know that things can take us by surprise at any time, at any moment. Things can go downhill. And it is, it's our job to take care of our patients and make sure that we are present and available, not just for them, but really I hope that for you. I'm passionate about this because I want to be happy, joyous, and free. I want to enjoy my life. And the thing is, so many things contribute to burnout. It's not just the facility we work for. There could be stuff going on at home. Guess what? Everybody has stuff going on at home. In 20 years, I have experienced a lot. I've experienced addiction. I've experienced divorce. I've experienced remarried. I've experienced having a baby. I've experienced being pregnant with radiation all around me. I've experienced life on life's terms. My grandma died. People experience life. 20 years is a lot of living. So not only do I have my home life, I have my work life. And you bet that they affect one another. Absolutely. So we're going to focus on resistance. Just anytime we make a decision to go from where we are to someplace better. So if we're admitting today, if I'm admitting I have burnout and I want to set a goal to have less burnout, or to manage my emotions better, or to have better relationships with people, or even the goal of just being happier, right? We enjoy my job again, love my job again, have fun again, be able to leave work at work. We all need to set a goal. So right now, we are admitting where we are, and in order to go to a better place, we need to have a tangible goal, because we want to be able to measure that something's changing. So because this class is Burnout is Real, I am admitting right now I have burnout. I have medical burnout. from a job that I've worked at for 20 years, and it's been like a roller coaster. I will find different solutions and tools to kind of pick me up and pull me out of it, and then it's been exhausting taking care of maintaining a calm, an integrated mind, a peaceful mindset working for the hospital. And so it can be done. It absolutely can be done. And there is a solution. I want you to just keep hearing that. But we have to do something. And what I've realized that nowadays people don't even set goals anymore. So we're settling for burnout. Like, it's easy for us to say burnout is real and then just settle into, yeah, burnout is real, and I'm powerless over it. There's nothing I can do about it, right? So we are settling that this is just the way it is. And we have to be brave enough and have the courage enough to set a goal to have something different. And insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So if you think you can just keep showing up at work and sooner or later, something's going to give. I mean, look at where we were before the pandemic. And the pandemic has changed things forever. And I have to break it to you that the pandemic changed us. It changed the way medicine is done forever. And so it brought up new fears. It took away security. There was all kinds of stuff, new problems that have been presented to the medical field since COVID. So if you thought we were already prone to medical burnout before, this has brought it to a new level. So there's no question we need a solution. So when we have a problem, we have a solution, we need a solution, and the way that we are a part of that is to set a goal. So everybody, right now, I would like you to rate the intensity of your burnout from a 1 to 10. 10 being, I cannot take it anymore. So there's these phrases that we say to ourselves, like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. I'm done. This is too much, right? So there's these phrases that come up when we're close to a 9 or a 10 on burnout. And if it's a 0, then it's easy to say, I love my job. I'm happy at my job. I am smiling all the way to work. And even on a hard day, I am engaged and present and connected. So that's the intensity scale, right? And so we can use that to see the problem and to see what would you rather have instead. What's your goal around burnout? So burnout, we need a way to refill our energy. We need a way to refill us. So when we're giving, our energy is being zapped from us. We need a way to recover from that. And so the answer is, how do we get really good at refueling our cup, refilling the cup, right? And then we need strategy to deal with stress, okay? So when we get better at managing and dealing with burnout, we're going to get something different. And when we are able to refill and regenerate ourselves so that we can be present and connected and in the moment, we're going to be happier that way. So those are the two main things. So I'm going to talk about some tools to help us do just that. We also need to have something that we're looking for, that we're trying to achieve here. So I want you in words to write out a goal, whether it's, I want to heal from burnout so I have better relationships. That's definitely a good one. I personally had a goal to overcome this depression, and the burnout was making me depressed. I didn't have any energy. So I wanted to be happy. So my goal was like, how can I make 2022 happier? What kind of tangible goal can I put in writing, in words, so that I know where I'm at as I'm applying these tools? I can start looking at my progress, that I can literally measure my progress. So everyone write down your goal, and then we're going to work on a couple tools that is going to help us get to the next level towards this goal. So one of the main things that keeps us from getting to a goal is emotions. Unmanaged negative emotions and thoughts keep us from moving forward. And literally, if we don't manage our emotions, they manage us. So what happens is everybody is sending out vibes, right? I have a negative thought. I don't say anything, but I am projecting with my body language energetically that this sucks, right? And one of the things that attributes to burnout could be management. Whoever is managing the institution, your department, whoever's above you, whoever makes decisions about how things are done, and whether you like it or not, we don't have any control over that. So that can also add to emotions that come up. And I'll tell you, by trying to just brush those feelings that come up and not actually releasing them and doing something with them, you're in trouble. I mean, to me, burnout is these signals that are coming off of everybody, patients, coworkers, management, that get stuck. So it's like someone pings me, I get this signal, and then another one, and it's like I start, I feel like it starts with my heart, right? It's like someone, is having a bad day, doesn't want to work as hard as me, and I'm like, getting frustrated, getting resentful that it feels like I'm doing all the work, I'm not getting any help. Ping. It's like I get this layer of gunk over my heart, and then, a surgeon yells at me, ping. And then it's like it's like one after another, there's these layers of gunk to the point where I can't even feel anymore. My heart is covered up. And when we experience burnout, these pings, there's only so much pinging and layers of gunk that needs to hide your heart and the way you feel. And then those pings start coming up higher to your throat and your mouth. And so you get, it's these things that come day in and day out. And instead of recognizing them, these signals, your emotions are signals, whether they're good or bad, they're signals. They're telling you something's up. When you feel angry, especially as a lady, I'm told, women don't get mad. I can't act out on my anger because I'll get fired, right? I can't act out because I can get in trouble. but that doesn't mean that I can ignore my anger, because that's where the short fuse comes, right? It's like I feel a little, somebody switches something on me. Like it's change. Like there's been a lot of change in my department. And so it's like when change happens, it's like, hey, it's like I kind of feel like shock, and then I feel resentful, and then it's like, I'm trying to talk myself into, you need this job, everyone else has to do it too, and this is just life. I just have to go with it, right? But I'm not really listening to the signal, because I'm getting a signal that I'm pissed off about change, that I'm uncomfortable about this change. And most of us we use food, alcohol, drugs, shopping, even working. I'm just going to work even harder then. And we ignore how we feel. And that's a mistake. So that's our number one mistake right there, is because as we get pinged with these emotions that are flying here and there off other people, and then we have our own, it's creating this wall. So we have this gunk on our heart, and then we have this gunk on our mouth. And you know what happens when we cover up our heart? We start feeling numb. So we stop feeling, because we're trying to protect ourselves. And then when we can't feel anymore, it moves up to our mouth. And then we're not only not feeling, we're not able to speak. We isolate. We stop saying anything's wrong. We stop talking. And when there's enough gunk covering my mouth and I can't talk, there's no need to put any more layers there. So then what happens? It comes over my eyes, and layer after layer after layer of pings, of signals, of negative vibes, of negative thoughts are literally blocking my vision. If you haven't done something creative, or you haven't come up with a goal, or you stopped seeing the future, you're so stuck in the here and now, you can't even see. It just keeps going up. Then it starts covering your brain and your head, and you have headaches, and you need to sleep all the time, because that's the only way to help your brain. When your brain starts to hurt and your brain has all that gunk on it and it can't think, your brain starts to shut down. And the way your brain can rejuvenate itself is it needs to go to sleep. That's how it recalibrates itself. So here we are. We have our own negative thoughts and emotions, and then other people have negative thoughts and emotions, and it's like this war zone of negativity just pinging and layering till we can't feel, we can't talk, we can't see, we can't think. We have to manage our emotions. We have to manage the way we're thinking. If we do not, then it controls us, and we are buried under gunk. And we have absolutely no protection or armor against other people's pings, against other people's vibes. Like that scenario when I was in the operating room and this doctor yelled at me, like I didn't have any armor to block it. There was nothing there to help me. And so the best thing that we can do for ourselves is acknowledge our feelings. And if you're like, I've been numb for so long, and especially if we're using things to numb our feelings, right? So if we can't take it, if we're depressed, if we're like, this sucks, we've already, just to be here tonight, you're using something. You're using TV, you're using the internet, you're using porn, you're using something, because that's how we cope. So tonight I want to show you guys there is actually a solution to releasing and managing these emotions. The first thing is to admit where you are and what's going on. So pen and paper, I know we have our phones. You can keep little notes in your phone to track your emotions. So we need to become aware of how I'm feeling. So when I wake up and I know I have to go to work, I'm just like, like there's already this like, I'm dreading it before I even have my feet on the floor. I need to acknowledge that right then and there. So in the beginning, it's just about becoming aware, being curious about what is that? What is it? Is that dread? Is that fear? What is my brain telling me right now? I just slept. I just woke up. It's a brand new day. What is my brain telling me to cause this feeling, this emotion? What is this feeling trying to tell me? So feelings are signals. They're trying to tell us something's going on. Pay attention to me. So by writing down for 1 week, writing down what you are feeling is super important. If you want to change behavior, if you want to change anything, tracking has been proven over and over. At Weight Watchers, you have to track your food. I just hate tracking my food. And they say if you want to lose weight, you have to know what you are putting in your mouth. There's no other way. You have to figure out what you are doing. So we have to track our emotions. So you can put it in your calendar, but we have to get connected with the signal our feelings are telling us in order to know how to fix it, how to release it, how to manage it. Because our feelings are, they are relentless. They keep on. And if I don't continue to track and manage and release, so that's what I'm doing. When I wake up in the morning, I notice, okay, there's this feeling of dread. The thought that's coming through my head is, I can't take this. It's too hard. I don't have the energy to go to work. And then the next thought, and I track these thoughts. And then I think, well, is it really true that I can't handle going to work today? And it's like, well, maybe it's not. What is this feeling? What is this signal trying to tell me? It's trying to tell me, look, you're working really hard. You need to take care of yourself. What can we do today if you can get through the day? What can you do that's nice for this dread? I think a lot of times our feelings want to be, first they just want to be acknowledged, and then they always are giving us a signal that they need something. Okay? So one of the ways I do this is I picture a school bus. And here's another tool, all right? So I hope you're taking notes, because I call it on the bus. And the bus driver is you. And the people that come on the bus are my different emotions, my different personalities. So, I have the fatso on the bus. And believe me, I don't want to offend anybody, but these are just the names that I give the people on my bus so I remember them. I can always remember the fatso. And to me, this is a piece of me. Like, I have a fatso inside of me that will eat a dozen donuts in one sitting. And I could have called her an addict, because that's what an addict would do. Like, you can't get enough of one thing. So a lot of the people on my bus represent addicts. So I want to call them so that I know what it is. So I call her the fatso. I have a cookie monster. I have a shopaholic. I have a depressed Nelly, is what I call her. So I have these different people that come on the bus. So what happens is you want to find at least 5 personalities and the feelings that are associated with that person. So my 5th one I'll give you is a workaholic, because when there's fear or even burnout, there's this person inside of me that thinks if I just work harder, it will get better. So everything is about work, and there's this dread, but also a drive. And so one of my emotions with the workaholic is dread. So that I know when I feel dread in the morning, it's the workaholic is talking on my bus. That means I'm driving the bus, but I stopped and the workaholic got on, and then they took a seat. But as soon as I started driving, they started making a commotion. They were like, I hate this job. Oh, it's so hard, and all I do is work, and there's nothing else. And, if I'm gonna work, and I'm gonna save all my money, and then finally I'm gonna be able to do what I want to do. And it's like this workaholic has so much to say, right? And what do you think if you're driving the bus? What do you think happens when I'm hearing this workaholic, right? She's distracting me. I can't even pay attention. If she gets crazy enough, she'll start walking towards the driver's seat, and she'll even try to take the wheel. And I'll tell you, if you've experienced burnout, you've let some of these characters on the bus take the driving wheel. And that's like giving the steering wheel over to, our lizard brain, our reptile brain, the fight or flight brain, the crazy brain that doesn't even know how to drive. It doesn't even know how to drive. And I'm like, well, you're probably right. So take the wheel. And then I'm completely out of control. And the thing to remember is we are the driver. We have the keys. We have the steering wheel. And you always have the choice to hand it over to somebody else who doesn't know how to drive, or drive the car yourself, drive the bus yourself. So when my workaholic stands up and starts making a commotion, and it's hard for me to drive and it's hard for me to concentrate, I literally am getting a signal. I'm getting feelings. There's something going on. I need to pull the bus over so I can confront and deal and acknowledge the workaholic is standing up, doesn't have her seatbelt on, making a ruckus, and she's even getting everybody else on the bus to not follow directions. And so it's like there is commotion. So I need to manage and release the signal. So by pulling the bus over, I can ask the workaholic to sit down. I can pinpoint and be curious about what her problem is, and I can track it. I can write it down. Then the next step is telling her, managing her, I'm the driver. I'm in charge. I know what's best for us. I know you're dreading going to work today. And I'm going to tell you that if we can get through today, when we get home from work, I'm going to get in the jacuzzi. I am going to eat the right food today so that you have the fuel to get through it. I know what's best for us. Sit down. I'm the driver. Cool it. So you see what I did there? I tracked it. I found out exactly what the signal was and what it needed. I managed it. And then I can release it. And I can take the driver, the wheel again. Then I'm ready to drive. So that's called On the Bus. That is an awesome tool to help us manage our emotions and figure out what the signal is. And it's just a way of putting it on paper, and then you can recognize it. Oh, I know who's talking. It's the Cookie Monster, because the Cookie Monster wants a cookie anytime she feels uncomfortable. Anytime. I'll eat it for breakfast. I'll eat it for lunch. Because she starts screaming, I need a cookie. I'm uncomfortable. So, but when I can recognize it's the Cookie Monster, she's throwing a tantrum again. What does she really need? She needs comfort. What is she really looking for? What when you're craving a drink or a cookie or a new outfit, what is it that you're really craving? What is that signal really telling you? Okay. The next tool I'm going to give you to manage these emotions, once we can recognize, once we've tracked that this emotion keeps coming up for me. I keep having this, exhausted, or I keep having this dread, or maybe it's just like angry, angry about the way things are being managed, right? So there's just this anger keeps coming up, or just, sometimes I just feel uncomfortable when things aren't going exactly the way I want them to go. I just feel uncomfortable, and I want to ignore that feeling and comfort myself with food or shopping or checking out. So a healthier way, and by the way, those things are not sustainable. If I don't actually manage what's going on with me, the thing with the people on the bus is they're lying to me. They're telling me they can drive the bus and they can't. They don't know how. So I'm the one. I have to be the bigger person. I have to be the one that's taking responsibility for driving the bus. So I wanted to give you just a little tapping exercise so that you could start doing it. So tapping is kind of like acupuncture, except there's no needles. So it's using the meridians in Eastern medicine to help us figure out a shift of energy. So acupuncture uses these needles to tap into the meridian energy system in our body and shifts it. So we end up shifting this energy and we actually feel better. And it's beautiful. This Eastern medicine has been recognized by Western medicine, and they have been able to duplicate and reproduce results over and over and over. So I know how important this is. So it's based on that, but instead of using needles, all we have to do is tap. So what we're gonna do is, this is the place we're gonna tap. It's just really lightly. You don't have to do it hard. And even, let's say like your head was hurting or something, you don't even have to touch. It's energetic, and we're shifting information. And so you always want to check in with yourself and write down on a piece of paper so that you can track it where the intensity is of the emotion. So this is super important that we're able to do this, so that you're able to check in with yourself and rate the intensity of anger, of being tired. So I want everyone to pick an emotion, one emotion, and have right next to it, write the intensity of that emotion. So the setup is 2 columns. So you can take a piece of paper, divide it in half. There's going to be a positive side and there's going to be a negative side. So we want to track the negative emotions we're having on one side, and then directly across the negative emotion, we want to put an emotion we would rather feel, or the opposite. So when I think of stress as an emotion, on the opposite, I would put calm. On one part, if we want to say burned out, on the other side, I would say happy. We're going to do 3. So the next one, the negative emotion would be exhausted, right? Like, I'm emotionally exhausted, right? On the other side, I'll put energetic. So it's okay if I feel blank. So we're tapping around our ear. It's okay if I feel stressed. It's okay if I feel calm. It's okay if I feel stressed. It's okay if I feel strong. It's okay if I feel stressed. It's okay if I feel calm. It's okay if I feel exhausted. It's okay if I feel exhausted. It's okay if I feel energetic. It's okay if I feel energetic. It's okay if I feel burned out. It's okay if I feel burned out. It's okay if I feel happy. It's okay if I feel happy. Okay, deep breath in. Blow it out. And then another deep breath in and blow it out. And so right now, that was what? That was less than 60 seconds. You're going to see if the intensity of one of the emotions went down. And I just want to say that it's okay if nothing happened. We didn't do it that long. So one of the reasons tapping wouldn't work is if we don't do it long enough, and if we don't get into the emotion enough, or we don't get into the specifics. So maybe it would be, it's okay if I feel burned out because I work these crazy hours. I'm getting more specific about why I think I'm burned out, or I'm just working too much, or this is too much. It's okay if I feel burned out because I'm working way too much. And then the opposite would be, it's okay if I feel happy even though I'm working too much. So these are not affirmations, okay? These are not declarations. Don't worry, you're not gonna, we've been taught we can't say anything negative, right? So I want you to just kind of just practice and trust me on this, that as we use this tapping, it's a way to release negative energy and negative emotions. So when I'm talking about, what does this emotion, what is it telling me? What is it signaling to me? Once I acknowledge it and I know what it needs, then I can release it. Emotions come and go, right? So it's not like I feel the same emotion at the same intensity for an extended period of time. It goes up and down. But if I never release it, then we get to that point where that layering, that muck, that closes us off from actually feeling anything, and then closes us off from even sharing or speaking or talking to other people. We shut down. And then our creative side and our vision shut down. And then our thinking shuts down because it just keeps layering and layering and layering and layering. So this is a start. This is a start to acknowledging burnout is real. It's a start to acknowledge where I'm at right now. It's a start for acknowledging I want to change and that doing the same thing over and over is not getting me anywhere. That it's acknowledging and making a commitment to write on paper what my goal is, and then the steps that it takes to get to that goal is a process. It's a journey. You don't just go from here to here. And that's what this is about. This is about giving you a couple tools to get you started. And if you really want that end result, you can't do it alone. We need help. And I do have a 3-month program on how to really once and for all get rid of burnout and how to maintain your happy, joyous, and freedom from burnout. And these kinds of tools, these kinds of they're able to sustain. They're sustainable tools. They're simple. They're easy. You can teach them to other people so that you're spreading the wealth, so that you're helping other people heal from burnout, so that you're not getting pinged as much, and that you have armor on, and that we can remember why we got into the medical field to begin with. And it's really because we love humanity. We love helping people. We love saving lives. And we got to save our own. We can't give what we don't have. And so this first part is really about acknowledgement. Once we do that, then we can do something about it. I'm going to mention one more thing, and it's called resistance. So anytime you set a goal, there is going to be resistance. There is going to be pushback, which means when you are going from here to here, you're going uphill, right? It's called up leveling for a reason. You're going up, which means there will be resistance. People, if it was easy to change, if it was easy to get goals, then we would get them more often. So just so you know, if you've made a decision tonight that you're ready to do something different about your burnout, there's going to be resistance. Resistance is going to push back to distract you. You might get sick. You might find drama. You might get in trouble. You might recruit allies to be on your side about, the burnout isn't that bad. You might get in denial. There's going to be these things that are going to pop up because your brain wants to keep you the same. So resistance is real. The law of opposition will show up. And that's another reason why we can't do it by ourselves. We need help. We need a support group. So if you are, I hope you enjoyed and got something out of this tonight, but if you are looking for a program, an experience to really get in touch, to really recover from burnout, and do it with a group of us, please, email me, text me, private message me. We're going to do something. I am committed to changing the way people deal with burnout. I want to give, I know that this is a journey. I am still in it. I still am learning and growing and on this journey of using these tools to help sustain a happy, joyous, and free life. And I'm passionate about this. I know how our patients need us. I know how our families need us. And this is it. Let's acknowledge and support one another. Burnout is real, and that it's okay to admit that. And you are not alone if that's true for you. And I hope that we can do this together. And this is a journey. We need steps. We need accountability. And we need results. So I hope you join me. Until next time, live your life happy, joyous, and free.